Kara, today we're talking all about play, the power of play. I'm so excited. You are the founder and chief fun officer of the Playful Warrior and a play and mindset coach. So, thank you for being part of Seek the Joy Summer. I'm so excited. I think we're going to start with a shaking meditation, right?
Yes, we are. And I'm
Okay.
so excited to be here as well. Can't wait to chat with you and do a little playful exercise.
Yes.
So, this is actually something I do with my clients a lot, and I recommend people do it. So, whoever is watching, you can take this with you and do it. So, the idea with the shaking meditation is that we can only do so much and release so much from like our brain, but our body stores so much like anxiety and tension. So to actually really let things go, we want to incorporate our body. So what's really cool about a shaking meditation is we can literally shake off what is stressing us
Mm,
out. So I usually recommend thinking about an intention, thinking about something that might be stressing you out. Could be a really small thing like this like annoying email you got, or it could be like a bigger thing like isolation and the pandemic or wherever you are. So just taking a moment right now to think about something that may be stressing you out, or you're holding some energy that you want to just let go. It's not serving you. So thinking about that, and then we will get ready to shake it off. And also, if you are feeling super zen and you don't have anything that's stressing you out, amazing. I love that. Love that for you. But you can still have a lot of fun just shaking out and make your own. So, one thing with play though is it is not rigid. It is like do it your own way, do what feels good for you. So, I will show you what it kind of looks like. However, feel free to just shake it up on your own. Again, just following what feels good for you and your inner child. So the idea is, I'm going to stand up now. So usually the song we're going to do is a chakra beatbox. So we shake through our chakras. So we start around our hips and we just start shaking around our hips. We go up to our stomach, we go up to our chest, and we go up to our throat, into our eyes, into our head. You can raise the roof and then we'll shake it down. And so it starts off slow, and every time we do it, it gets faster. So just have fun with it. You can twirl as you do it. I'll probably be doing that, just making it your own. But really, really, as you're doing it, letting go of whatever is not serving you. And again, if you don't have anything amazing, it's still just really fun to shake around.
perfect. I love this. When you talk about shake it
Yeah.
off, I just have Taylor Swift in my mind. Like shake
Yes.
it off. So this is great. I love this. All right. Let's do it.
Yes. Okay. Amazing. So I'm going to stand. You can do this seating as well, whatever feels right for you. So I will call out kind of what I'm doing, but again, just groove how feels good for you. So we're going to get started. Okay, perfect.
There it is.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. We're going to start one more time. Okay, perfect. So start around your hips, just letting go. Yes, to your stomach, your chest, your throat, your eyes, your head. Take it down and a bit faster now. Hips, stomach, chest, throat, eyes, head. Take it down and a bit faster. Hips, stomach, chest. One more time. Amazing. Okay, let me just get a breath now. How did that feel?
I I just like had the best time. I just realized I was muted too, so probably nobody saw me, but I was like, you know what it is about it that I think is so cool? Is it's this ability to kind of get out of your head and into your body. And as you
Totally.
get more so into your body, you are allowing yourself to just like through movement, do a lot of releasing of what you
Yeah.
said, like anything that's bothering you, that's coming to mind, that's feeling like an aggravating point, even if you are the most zen person ever, we still need to move the energy in the body. I love that.
Yes.
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
was so good.
And this is so great to do, even if you're feeling like stuck in your day or you've been
Yeah.
on Zoom or Teams or whatever you use, and you just need to like spark your creativity. You need to re energize. It's such a good way to just like get back in your body, refuel yourself, come back to like maybe you have a problem approaching new things from a different perspective. Yeah, it's so important. It's nice, it's spontaneous. You can do it anytime you want. And it only takes 2 minutes. Like it's so short.
That was only 2 minutes. I felt like we
Yeah,
were doing it for much longer. I think because I just
no,
wasn't focused on the time. I was just
yeah,
in the moment. Oh my
just two
God.
minutes.
This is great. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
So everyone's got a really wonderful taste of what it's like to work with you, but I want to dive in a little bit more to what play is. I have a feeling it really relates back to this shaking meditation we just did, but for anyone that's kind of, new to the world of play and your work and what you do, what is play? Like what does it mean to play as an adult?
Yes, I love this question. So, playing means connecting with our curiosity to spontaneity to the present moment, really reconnecting with our childlike wonder, being in this exploratory state. Most importantly, for adults to know, it is actually not competitive. It is
Mm,
not about an outcome. It is just about doing it for the sake of doing it and this connection to self and finding joy. But a lot of us, will think of play as like board games or doing something to win. So technically board games could be play for you, but if you are so set on winning and if you are not enjoying yourself if you lose,
yeah.
that's actually not play.
Yeah.
So play is like really just about connecting to this moment and finding enjoyment within ourselves, like finding wholeness within, not
Mm.
having it depend on something else, being just able to explore and be curious. So I always just say follow your curiosity.
Follow your curiosity. When you talk about curiosity, it feels like taking the pressure off of yourself too, and just giving
Yes.
yourself a moment to dive in to maybe
Yeah.
things that you love, your own creativity. Even if that just means, I think, taking a walk around the block. Not focusing on anything where you're putting pressure on yourself. Because I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and that's when we forget to play. That's when we forget to have fun. Is when we are so stuck in this like hamster wheel of sorts of like pressure and expectation and I think everything that comes with being an adult, truthfully.
Yeah, and it's not our fault, it's our conditioning, we get conditioned out of it,
Yeah.
but it's like yeah, it's like because we learn to only do things that we feel we're, like, good at by societal
Yes.
standards,
Yes.
so it's like, why would I do art if it's not gonna, like, be this, like, beautiful piece, right? Like, as me, I wasn't, like, an artist, I could barely write in the lines as a kid, so I just never did art because it was like, why would I do that? It's like we learn to achieve and to please and to get our worth in these like external things. And by getting that like validation, the idea with actual play, like the true spirit of playing creativity, is really just exploring, thinking about things with a new perspective, which we can all do, and like finding that our self worth isn't tied to these external things. It's just about like finding this safety within where we can just explore. And so it's so beautiful. And yeah, like you said, it's doing it in a no pressure way.
Hmm. I feel like you sort of spoken to this a little bit, but I would love to dive in into how play can improve our overall well-being. You touched on this at the very beginning when we were introing the meditation. This has been a really crazy, stressful, hard year and a half. And for a lot of us, it's just been about surviving and not so much about thriving or really doing anything that you love. It was just how can I kind of keep myself, above water. So what role does play in kind of improving our overall well-being and how we feel, in the world?
Yeah. So I think when we think of play, like a lot of people will think of fun and joy, which is amazing. We need that. But it is so much more than that. So it is really important for our mental health and well being, for our physical health and well being, just overall our health. There's a famous researcher, a play researcher from the US named Stuart Brown, who actually says that play deprivation is a risk to our health. So it is So important. It lowers our cortisol, which is the hormone responsible for stress, also gives us dopamine and endorphins, those feel good hormones that we all love. It helps us feel more rested. By doing all this, we're actually becoming more productive. When we are just like working really hard and we burn out, like that isn't actually productive. The more we can play and take time for ourselves, the more we can show up as the most powerful version of ourselves and do things more efficiently. Another thing I love about play is it fires up our brain, especially when we are exploring new things and we're spontaneous. It's improving our brain function and our memory, which is so cool. And all these things we don't learn about obviously really helps with our creativity, our adaptability, problem solving skills. One of my favorite things too is that it helps us come up with new solutions unconsciously.
Mm.
So when we're not actually cranking and trying to like figure something out, it's like maybe you're on like this exploratory walk and you get a cool idea. It's because you're not putting pressure on yourself. So when we're playing, we actually can get really cool ideas, again, because we're allowing ourselves to just explore.
Mhm. What's been really helpful for me, and I'm curious if this has been helpful for you too, at least in the last 5 to 10 years, is changing the way I view the word productive. So
Mm,
often we think like being productive means like you're sitting at the desk and you're working hard or you're out in the world, whatever your career or your job is, that is productive. That's the way we as society, at least
mm,
in the Western hemisphere and where you and I are, you're in Canada, I'm in the United States, that's how we view what it means to be productive. But I have had to change that and kind of flip that word on its head and say, no, part of being productive is allowing myself to rest. Part of it is allowing myself to play, to do things, like you said, that are fun and enjoyable, but also allow me to sort of just take a step back and give myself enough room and enough space to like, get to know myself and what do I like to do and how do I want to spend my time. You kind of can't figure those things out if you are just like head down, typing away, working all the time. I think that's where people meant to get the word balance from. Like, I think that's what we meant to mean when we talk about balance. It means allowing yourself that space to also rest and play and integrate and process and come up with new ideas in a very low stakes, low pressure environment.
yeah, it's so true. I totally agree that there needs to be kind of a shift. And I think it's
Yeah.
happening for some
Yeah.
people, but especially in the corporate world as well. Like there's still confusion about what productive can really mean. And I think with play, it also really helps us get in this flow state where we end up, yeah, just being so much more connected to our creativity, to like our zone of genius, and can get things done faster. But it's
Mhm.
because we are prioritizing ourselves and we are balancing, and that's why we can just show up. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah. All right. So I want to talk about play this summer because I don't know about you, but when I think about summer, I think about being outside. I remember like being a kid, going to all these different summer camps and just having opportunities and moments, to tap into my creativity. So for anyone that's listening and they're like, okay, I'm ready, in this season to bring in more play, bring in more creativity, allow myself to explore this really beautiful power of play this summer, where is a good place to start?
Yeah. So I usually say start by thinking about what you used to do as a kid if you were, playing. And if you have memories of that, what did you do as a kid that you can do now that you can recreate to really connect with your inner child? And if you don't have memories, that's totally okay. So a lot of us don't have memories from childhood. So do not fear. There are other things you can do. I would say, so I went on my own personal play journey, feeling really lost and feeling like there weren't resources. So I challenged myself to do something different and playful every day. And that was kind of how I ended up becoming like this play coach, because then I had all these ideas.
Hmm.
But really starting to ask questions, following your curiosity. I know for me, like a walk is always good, but doing like a different walk, going on a different route, walking at a different time, and just observing the world and looking around, looking up, looking down, like looking for snails, looking for rocks, whatever you're seeing, so you can really immerse yourself in this curious state and just start asking questions and allowing your brain to think with new perspectives about like what you could do. So something for me, like on a walk, if I see a cool rock, I'll get some rocks and I'll paint those later. Like I love painting rocks and it's so fun because they're so grounding and I just feel so connected to earth when I have these rocks. So something like that, like honestly playing with kids or playing with animals is always really, really good and can really help you tap into that childlike wonder. Another thing I would say is exploring with a blindfold. So, blindfold is great because it really heightens our senses. And also, so many of us judge what we do, whereas the blindfold takes away that critical factor of our conscious mind. So, if you're creating kind of any art, like try doing it blindfolded. Again,
Mm.
you want to get away from this idea that it has to look a certain way. It's so liberating to just be able to create without having this outcome or being hard on yourself. And I know for me, the way I got there was by working with the blindfold.
Mm.
Eating with the blindfold as well is great because then you get to be so mindful of your food and actually experience it and like tap into all of your senses. So many of us just scarf down our food and we don't really make it this kind of like event where we are appreciative of it. So yeah, there's so much you can do, and I never like to say that, this is what each person should do. Like everyone is different,
Right.
but
Yeah.
really exploring your curiosity. And you can play games of course as well, like outside, but just like really tapping into this idea that your worth does not come from winning this game.
Mm.
You can like play the game and enjoy yourself, but that like the end goal is not to win. If it happens, that happens. But just like really finding your worth and finding enjoyment in that moment is like such a beautiful shift to experience, because I know I was always so competitive. I'm not saying there's something wrong with competition, like you can still play, and it can be fun, but just like really just like watching where you source your worth from can
Mhm.
be really, really helpful.
For me, it really sounds like it's just about allowing yourself to explore and allowing
Yeah.
yourself to kind of just see what gets you excited, see what feels good, see what feels like a moment around expression. But I think often when we're tapping into this element of creativity or expression for ourselves, like you said, we begin to judge it, which is why I think this piece about the blindfold is so cool and so interesting. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about this before. But I'm curious, how can we start to move past these limiting beliefs or these, which are often subconscious, I think, around creativity or around play or around expressing ourselves? We really judge ourselves. And so I'm curious, what have you seen or how have you been able to help yourself or maybe others move past these limiting beliefs around play and expression?
Yeah, there are so many beliefs. And to be totally honest, I was really trying to change my beliefs at a conscious level. But we
Mm.
can only do so much at a conscious level when 95% of actually how we're operating is based on our subconscious mind.
Oh,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
and and I was running into that a lot, which is actually why I got certified in NLP and hypnotherapy and started reprogramming my subconscious mind. So if you have the ability to, I mean, working with practitioner is super, super helpful. If you don't, there is stuff you can do on your own. Being really mindful that our words are so powerful and they define our reality, and our neurotransmitters are always listening to our body. So just being so mindful of what you are saying, and saying something like, I am a creative person, that feels really, really off to you. Like
Mm.
it's then you obviously do have some limiting beliefs around creativity, but starting to rewire your brain by even saying like, I'm learning to accept my creativity, doing like small baby steps, and every day your subconscious mind needs repetition. So never think like, oh, like I already know this. Your subconscious mind needs the repetition to really learn something. I recommend doing like one belief for 30 days at a time. For me, hypnosis was so powerful. That was how I really became confident and really shifted into the ability to just like start a business and accept my creativity and let go of those beliefs. Because yeah, I had so many about my worth and that I wasn't good enough and that I was creative. So for other people, even recording like voice note of yourself, and thinking about the identity that you want to step into. Do you want to be like this creative person who just explores freely and like whatever feels good for you, getting really clear on like who your future self is, the identity you want to step into, and starting to take action steps every day. Like, what can you do today to move you closer to that future self version of you?
Hmm. Can we use play to step into that version of ourselves that we are craving or that we are desiring? Because I think we talk a lot about how we can reconnect back to ourselves. But I think this piece about being able to step into who you want to be, how you want to spend your time, can we use play to do that also?
Yeah, totally. And
That's
I
so
mean,
cool.
when we are in this flow state, right, we will become more connected to self. And one thing I actually noticed is that, and there is now research behind it, is that when you play, you become more connected with your intuition as well.
Mm,
Like you're just creating this more solid sense of self. Because if you think about it, we were all so playful as kids, right? And then
yeah,
we just
so
got
true.
conditioned out of it. We were so
Yeah.
creative, curious, spontaneous, but we all have that inside of us. So to some degree, we are all suppressing this part of us, right? And it's not our fault. Like, have so much like compassion for yourself. But it's like to be the most authentic version of ourselves actually means to embrace our playful parts, right? In some degree, to
Mhm.
embracing all of our parts, the spectrum of everything, our shadow parts as well. So yeah, it is actually just so important to be our most authentic part is to explore play. If you have a lot of resistance around that, that's normal. There's like trauma, there's conditioning, and that's why I believe subconscious mindset work is a huge part of that. But by taking time to prioritize play, you're actually saying to yourself, like, I accept you, I prioritize you. My self expression is a priority over what other people think of me, because so many of us have fear of judgment, of like being seen as like silly
Yes.
or being
Yeah.
judged and what that will look like. But it really shows that, like I'm standing in my sovereignty, I am important for me. So yeah, it's like there's just so many shifts that happen when you play.
So many. It's really beautiful, everything that you just spoke about. And I think really tangible. Like nothing you have said to me feels like, oh, I couldn't do that. Like, or, oh, I couldn't figure out, how to do that. And it's so interesting. I think at some point in our lives, we feel like we have to be very serious in order to be taken seriously. So we like change, how we are and how we present ourselves. And we're so hyper focused, on how we present ourselves and on that element of being serious. And I love just the sort of mindset shift that you're really speaking of, which is, hey, you can be all the things. You can be serious and playful. You can accept every aspect, everything across the spectrum of who you are. And by engaging in your play, because it really is your play, it's going to be specific to you, you can allow yourself to get there. And so I'm curious, was all of this sort of the inspiration for your 8-week program, ThoughtPLAY? Because I know you incorporate the power of play with the subconscious mind. I'm curious, like, what does that look like? Because I've never heard of something like this before, and I just think it's so valuable.
Yeah. So to my knowledge, I'm the first person that has created anything like this. And
That's
that
so
was really
cool.
scary for me though, because
Oh,
I
I'm
used to
sure.
be this people pleaser before all this subconscious mindset work and play. And like doing something that was not validated by the mainstream was very scary. It was like really learning how to trust myself, trust my inner child, trust these like feelings that felt really crazy going from 10 years in corporate to having a play business. But it was like I really just changed my life through the power of play and subconscious work. And like I mentioned, I was kind of on this play journey, coming up with all these different ways to play. And I could see so many adults were like, kind of who were into inner child healing, learning that they needed to play, but they didn't know how to play. And also because we have life going on, sometimes you just need to be accountable to it. And it's like when you make an investment in play, you make an investment in you and your healing. And you're like, oh, okay, now actually I gotta play, and I want to see like how incredible my like shifts are now in my life. And so what I do in this program is you get a play box and a playbook delivered in the mail. It's all a surprise. And essentially, I never tell you what we're going to do in our sessions. It's completely spontaneous. It's like so many different kinds of play. Every week is super different. The idea with this is that we are really connecting you to your curiosity, spontaneity, to your childlike wonder. We don't want you coming in with a rational brain of how you're going to play and how you're going to do each thing. So you actually really have the chance to heal and like really connect with your curiosity. And then we do different mindset work every day. So that's why it's called Thought Play. There's play and then there's Thought Play. So yeah, we do hypnotherapy, we do NLP, we do a lot of really powerful, deep subconscious mindset work to really help you heal, connect to yourself, connect to your confidence and to your power, and to create this life that is authentic for you and that excites you.
I love what you've created and I love that it doesn't exist anywhere else. And I think, just knowing that you are creating your life and it's just about giving you, the person, anybody, the tools to be able to cultivate this for yourself. So, okay, I want to know, what are you excited about this summer when it comes to play? Like to step into your play. We're coming out of you. I know you and you're in Ontario, Canada. So like you're coming out of winter and some extreme lockdowns with COVID. So, what are you looking forward to with your own personal play this summer?
Yeah, I am so excited to be outside
Yes.
and to like go to the parks and to do like paddle boarding and to just like I'm hoping to get some people to like dance at a park, depending on like what the restrictions are as well. Just being able to like move intuitively with other people in person would be
Mhm.
so beautiful. But just exploring the city again, supporting small businesses. Like I love just like going on adventures and checking out like this new like bread place or wine place or cheese place and just going around. Usually Toronto, where I live, has so many cool events. So I don't think those are happening this year, but just really trying to explore and adventure, go camping as well, play with dogs. I saw some dogs at a
Mhm.
park last night, which was so exciting. Been dog deprived for too long,
You've
but
been dog deprived of the cuteness.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a real thing. It's a
Yeah, I
real
believe it.
thing.
I know. Listen, when I go on a walk and I see a cute dog, I just want to run over and like pet it, but I don't know what the owner is going to feel like with COVID. Like I just have been like,
Oh,
"Hi." And you kinda, like, slowly
yeah.
walk away. So I get it. Oh, that's gonna be so
Uh,
wonderful. And I love what you said too. It's just about being outside and being with people that you love. And, I'm really recognizing that this new season, this summer season that we're walking into, I think that's what this is about. It's about being with people that you love, allowing yourself moments of connection and having fun. Not making it
yes.
this big pressurized, thing, just allowing yourself to have fun and to play. And I have so enjoyed this conversation with you. I am
Me
so
too.
glad that for this summer series, we are doing a session on the power of play. And I know that this is so inherent to who you are and what you do, but I think it's amazing to be able to reframe and really understand that play is a secret element really to your success. And no matter what it is that you're doing, it's not like a fluffy thing, it's not an add on, it has to be part of our lives. And when we allow ourselves, I think, to bring in the play, bring in the fun, remove the pressure, explore your curiosity and creativity, life just gets better. Like life just gets better, right? So,
So
Kara,
much
thank
better.
you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being part of this. Where can everybody find you, connect? And then I would love it too if you would share this beautiful offering that you're sharing with Seek the Joy Summer attendees.
Yes, you can find me at the Playful Warrior on Instagram or theplayfulwarrior.com on my website. Come check it out. I would love to play with you. And I have an amazing offer for you that I'm so excited about. So, one of my subconscious mindset offerings is actually emotional freedom techniques or EFT tapping. So, what I love about this is that we get to release our negative emotions. So, any feelings you're having right now with self doubt, insecurity, fear of judgment, shame, I have this beautiful tapping sequence that will help you release that and really step into your most confident, powerful self. Do this anytime you're like going on a date, you have a presentation, you're going on an interview, just anytime you just want to show up as confident or you're posting something on Instagram that you feel insecure about. This is such a great way to let that go and feel so confident. So glad that I can provide that
Mm.
resource for you.
I love it. Okay, so everything is going to be right underneath our video so everyone can connect with you, follow along, learn more, get this beautiful offering. I love this idea of removing self doubt because removing that element of self doubt, it's another limiting belief that I think inhibits our curiosity and our creativity.
Totally. And the thing is we can't just always go to like, I'm a confident person because we have these
No.
feelings inside of us
Yeah.
that need to be released. And what's really cool about EFT is that it really engages our body as well. And we bring up these feelings so that we can let them go.
Yeah, you can't go from 0 to 100 without
No.
without the in-betweens, the in-between part of all of it, and I think something I tell myself, and hopefully this is helpful to anybody that's listening or watching us, um, those limiting beliefs I think will always kind of pop in, but it's about learning to manage it and not believe everything you think about yourself and allow yourself to continue to move forward. But yeah, no, we are not ignoring the in between. We're not ignoring all the difficult stuff. We're just saying, "Hey, how are you?" But you're not going to dictate how I move forward at all. So I'm with you. You can't go from 0 to 100 without the in between. That's for sure.
No, totally. Definitely not.
Oh, thank you, Kara. This was wonderful. I'm so excited to share this. Thank you again.
You're welcome. It was so great. And thank you everyone for watching.
Yes, thank you.